everyone, so if you're watching this video, I'm assuming you're very new to the ballet world, and the first thing I want to say is I am so excited for you. There's just so much in store for you, and just thinking about it makes me all giddy, and it does remind me of when I first started ballet. Anyways, I am here today to talk to you about some advice that I have for starting late. I myself started ballet late, and I got very serious about it when I was around 18. And because I've been in a lot of adult studios, a lot of the people I've met have a similar story of just starting very late. And I wanted to share with you guys today some of the advice that I've learned just from my own experience, and of course the experience of the other dancers that I've met throughout all of my years of dancing. Let's get started. So when I first started ballet, I was pretty focused on the glamour of it all, the pointe shoes, the tutus, costumes, things like that. And I never really saw the ballet world holistically or realistically until much later. And as you dive more into the ballet world, you will realize that it can sometimes be problematic. There is a lot of unrealistic standards that are set on dancers. These standards lead to really terrible things like body dysmorphia, eating disorders, and low self-esteem. So I want to talk about how you can improve in ballet while also equipping you with the right mindset so that you can have a long and healthy relationship with dance. So the first thing I would say is take your time and slow down. I know that's counterintuitive. I know that a lot of the late dancers I've met have always felt like they need to constantly be in a rush to catch up, but I don't want you to feel that way. That is not the best mindset to have when you're dancing, because if you're so focused on catching up, you're never going to really be able to enjoy the process that you go through when you're learning ballet. And to be honest, there's a lot to learn about ballet in the beginning. The coordination, all the terminology, your mind and body will struggle to keep up, and that's completely normal. I don't want you to feel discouraged because you're not getting something right away. The majority of us do not get anything right away. We do it maybe 100 times and we get it right maybe 2 of those times. And that is honestly the learning process, and that's how it's going to be. It's fine to slow down and take your time. And the reason why I think slowing down will actually help you to progress even faster in ballet is that your body and mind needs time to catch up and learn all of these things. As I'm sure you guys all know, ballet is not the easiest thing on the body. It is very tough because you are always pushing your body to the limit. And if you are doing this very often at the beginning, you risk the chance of sustaining an injury, and an injury is really the way to slow yourself down. Take it from me, a person who has had many injuries from just being too eager. You slowly ramping your body up to all of this movement will be the best thing you can do for it. And mentally, your mind needs a break from ballet. It needs time in between classes and lessons to process what just happened. Your brain's pretty amazing. It does a lot of background processing, which means that when you are doing something else, your brain is actually trying to make sense of something you did earlier. Background processing is great because you are actually improving on something while not really working on it. We should let background processing take over and just give ourselves a break. And if you're not giving yourself a break, you will just start to feel overwhelmed and you might just quit. And I see a lot of dancers go through this where they overwhelm themselves at the beginning and get so frustrated that they just plainly quit. They would have been so much better off if they just took everything slowly. My second tip for you is to be consistent in your ballet training. And what I mean by that is, you know, when you're older and this is not really a serious thing for you, or it might be a hobby and you can quit anytime, what a lot of adults end up doing is that they take classes when they can and then maybe go 2 to 3 months without taking classes. And then when their lives have slowed down and they feel like they have enough free time again, they'll go back to taking classes. And this constant up and down of, you know, training, break, training, break, training, break really is not great. And I know that whenever I come back from a long break, I don't feel so great about myself. My first day back, I always feel pretty terrible about how my technique is not there anymore, or I've lost this, or I'm not strong enough, or whatever. And I get very frustrated at myself because I feel like I would not have lost as much if I stuck to doing something consistently, even if it was extremely minimal. If you can, try your best to do ballet at least once a week for 30 minutes. Even if you're not taking an official class, do an online bar by yourself, do some stretching, just have dedicated time for ballet. And I would recommend at the minimum, this should be weekly. And the third tip I have for you is learn to be okay with where you are today. Ballet is a really tough art form. I felt like I looked like an awkward duck for like the first 2.5 years of my dancing. 2.5 years is a long time to dedicate to something and still feel like you're bad at it and still look bad at it, right? But unfortunately, that is the norm, is that there's just so many little details in ballet that to look a certain way or to be at a certain level just takes a really long time. And I realized that a lot of the frustration I felt was honestly just impatience. I was impatient to get onto point. I was impatient to dance variations. I was just impatient for whatever the next milestone was all the time. I was upset because I wasn't already there. Why can't I already be there? Which is ridiculous now that I think about it, because I feel like I've missed out on a lot of moments to just have fun and enjoy myself and really love the process, because I was just so focused on why am I not already there and why am I not already good enough. Progress is slow and that's completely normal. So definitely learn to be okay with where you are. If you just feel this burning of frustration inside your chest every single day, slow down, take a few breaths, and remind yourself that you are okay as you are. You are acceptable as who you are today, and you don't need to be anyone else or anywhere else. You are perfectly okay. The next tip I have for you is to be aware of your current mental health. Unfortunately, the sad reality is that most of us will try to become our own worst enemies. I've met a ton of dancers who have been extremely frustrated by their own body limitations and by their own limited experience in ballet. I completely understand that, because I myself have been there. I started late and danced with a lot of young people, and it made me feel like I was never good enough. One thing I wish someone would have helped me to understand was that everyone's journey in life in general is going to be extremely unique. My path is not going to match up to a prima ballerina's path, and that is completely okay. The beauty of humanity is that there is no one else that is exactly like you. You are one of a kind. Your journey, therefore, will also be one of a kind, and that itself is pretty beautiful, isn't it? So my advice for you guys is to really focus in on how amazing it is that on top of having food and shelter, you also have dance. There's not that many people in the world that have all these things, and the fact that you do is already great. And maybe you don't have the best body, maybe you don't have the best technique. Most of us don't have that. I don't have that, and I'm still perfectly happy, and I still can enjoy dancing my own way. So when you are having one of those mental spirals, as I have had many times, I want you to keep in mind that late is better than never. You are okay as you are. You don't need to be like anyone else. You are you, and that is good enough. The last tip I have for you is to find yourself a very good ballet community and teacher. The people you surround yourself with will greatly influence your experience in ballet, and if you have the right people, you will be way more likely to sustain a happy experience. I am so grateful for the few amazing friends and teachers that I had that have really helped me out, not only in ballet, but in my personal life. Just having them around made me feel significantly less alone in my journey. I would recommend that you make some friends from the ballet studio that you attend, and if that's not possible, try to find some kind of online ballet community for yourself. And if you're interested, definitely feel free to join my Patreon community. It's where I can provide support for adult dancers and where I can interact with some of you. And a quick note about ballet teachers, there are plenty of bad ballet teachers in the community, so please take your time to shop around until you can find the right ballet teacher for yourself. Teachers will very much impact your experience with ballet, and I would hate for any of you to have a bad experience because of a bad teacher. If you're interested, I wrote a long post about how to find a good ballet teacher and signs of a good ballet teacher on Patreon, so you can definitely check that out if you need some ideas of what a good or a bad teacher looks like. Other than that, that's all I have to say for today. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!